I'm Reggie Ponder, and I'm here with the producers of the film Punch 9 for Harold Washington. And you guys, this is important. Harold meant so much to the city, and I just got through talking to Joe about this, that he was such a larger than life character. Can you both speak to why you wanted to? I know why, but anyway, speak to why you really wanted to do this film. And I'll start with you, Sonya.
Okay. It's such an important story to be told. One of the things that has been important to us is to tell our stories, African American stories that haven't been told. And it was such a shame that, one of the things that Joe often says is, where is the American experience story about Harold Washington? So we realized that it was an important story to tell. Raymond and I met right after he completed the Maya Angelou movie, Maya Angelou and Still I Rise. And so the band was starting to get together, and we ended up working together on the movie. And it's so important. One of the things that we often say is every generation has to fight for democracy, and it's important to watch what happened historically, because it's almost a bit of a Twilight Zone experience into some of the things that are happening now politically.
Yeah, and I think at that particular time, he was one of the leading political figures, not just in Chicago, but in the nation. So the election was so important that it was being watched all over the world, actually, to see how a democracy can function when someone is truly able to deliver on what their promises are. And he was the man, because he would like to say the man, the moment, the movement. And he was in it, but not of it. So that's what made him stand out, and people watched and people admired him to this day.
The other thing that I will say is Harold Washington fought for everybody, which was very different from politics of that time and even politics now. I mean, it's an interesting juxtaposition, but he fought for fairness. And, one of the things that he often said is, even if you don't like me, I'm still here fighting for you.
And it's so interesting, because I was going to ask you guys about the coalition he built. Yes. Is that when you look at the coalition, you don't see that today.
I think it's, and it was a fight to build that coalition. So you'll see in the movie that it wasn't easy, but it took a certain personality, a certain determination and dedication to build that and to stick to it. And he was that special person that could deliver on that.
Now, I know you guys got to get in here to see the movie, and I want to get in here and see the movie, but for people who are not here, what do you want to say to them why they should watch this movie?
I think for me, the story, unfortunately, is still relevant. Many of the things that we see in the battles that are taking place right now have been done before, and he's a perfect example of what can be done in these types of circumstances.
I would say I think it's important for us to know our history, particularly political history. And President Obama, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, all stood on the shoulders of Harold Washington, and they all have said that. And so were it not for Harold, there'd be no them. And so it's important for people to see the story for that reason, but also to understand, historically what was happening at the time and what's happening now.